Good afternoon. Welcome back to All American Tractor Works. I am spending some time here at my cabinet blaster, cleaning up some of our brake parts in here. I'm just about done. We'll go back over the transmission. We'll kind of do a recap of where we left off and pick up and get started again on what we got going on. So here are some of the parts I've been cleaning up. Like I said, I was cleaning them up in my blast cabinet. I'm not trying to get all of the paint off of them. Pretty much just using it to get any dirt, loose, rust off, things like that. You can, in the blast cabinet, bring it right down to bare metal. It gives you an ideal painting surface. But with it being cast iron, it's not that crucial to me. My big goal is to just get them clean. I'd rather not have to do a bunch of priming before I go to paint. So it's just about removing the rust and the dirt. That hasn't even been washed yet, but this pedal here, as you can see, so this has been through the sandblaster, my blast cabinet. You can see it's pretty clean. It has been washed. It's perfect for painting. It's ready to go. I know a lot of guys are really intent on getting down the bare metal, putting down a layer of primer and painting over that. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. With cast iron, it's not that crucial to me. It's going to be a rough paint job anyway. I don't really think you'd ever be able to tell if it got a primer coat under it. It pretty much is going to level itself out when you paint anyhow. So that's the nice thing about painting cast iron. It's rough. You don't have to be super smooth. When it comes to the sheet metal, that's a little bit different story. We'll talk about that when we get to that. So a couple things I wanted to address just from messages that I got. And I thank you guys for sending those in to me. I got kind of beat up on this one. One of the things that we talked about when I put the axles in, I talked about how the axles had to be perfectly square and level as I put them in. A couple guys suggested getting longer bolts to help guide them in. Absolutely fabulous suggestion. I just didn't have the longer bolts. I didn't want to have to go out and buy some. I'm trying to keep this down, costs down to a minimum, trying to stay on a budget. So I was able to do it the way it was, but the use of the longer bolts, trying to guide it in and pull it in, that's genius. If that's something that you want to do, definitely explore doing that. I think it'll work great. Thank you guys for that suggestion. Also, had a question about where do I get my bearings from? I'm not big on plugging other companies, but I will share with you where I get my parts from because they've all been very good to me. And everything I've gotten from them I've been completely satisfied with. I get a lot of my parts from Steiner Tractor. I get a lot of parts from Messick's. And I've gotten some stuff from Yesterday's Tractors. There's a lot of good sources out there. I have not had any complaints about any of them. I feel like all the parts that I've gotten have been quality and well worth the money I've spent, especially the gaskets. The gaskets are not cheap. They can be expensive, but I was very happy with the quality. The delivery time, everything that I got, it was quick. It got here. There wasn't a lot of stuff back ordered. Probably my biggest struggle is some places have things in stock, others don't. As you know, when you're trying to put something together like this, the quicker you can get parts, the easier it is for you. But for the most part, I was able to get everything that I needed. I know I've remarked before that I felt that getting parts for a John Deere were a lot easier than an International, and I still hold that truth, but I haven't yet hit any dead ends where I have not been able to find the parts that I needed. So still pretty easy to get parts for International, but I still think it's easier for a John Deere, but that's a topic for another day. So where we are now, if you remember, we got everything closed up. Our top is on. Everything on the front we've got put on for now. Our transmission is back up on jack stands. It's completely closed up. The last thing I have to do to really wrap this up is I need to put the brakes on both sides. I've got one hub and everything cleaned up already. I've got to take apart the other one here and get it cleaned up. But I'll get those cleaned up and we'll get those put on. I've got all my brake parts here on the table. I played around with this ball bearings set inside here. I'm pretty sure that this lays on top of it and these line up for these springs to go in there. I've tried to put it together several different ways before I got you started here with me to make sure I didn't do it the wrong way. I think I have it correct. So Before I get that going, I am going to take, and I'm going to put a little bit of grease on these ball bearings. I don't know if this necessarily needs to be done, but I figured a little bit of lubricant on these might help. One thing that was brought up in an email that I got regarding ball bearings, if you remember when I was putting the shifter forks back together, it was mentioned that I should have put some grease in the ball bearings. It would help to keep them in place. So it's actually a pretty good idea. And I'll be real honest with you, I actually tried to do that before we even started shooting. And I found what happened was now I was trying to hold on to greasy ball bearings that were slipping out of my fingers just as easily as if they had no grease on them. So I elected not to use grease in that application. That's why I didn't. But that is a good idea, and I did think of that, so thank you for sharing that with me. All right, so we got our two halves together. The trick is going to be, I'm going to see if I can do this here without putting it in my vise for your benefit. Hopefully I don't send anything flying across the shop. We'll see how that works out. You guys know how my luck is. Let me go grab some pliers. Let's see if I can take and link these back up. There we go. I got one done. This guy is on my right hand side. And let's see how we can get this one to go. There's always one that's hard. There we go. I'm pretty sure that's how that goes. Of course, I got my drawing, my picture, my parts breakdown right here. I don't dare do anything without it. As you can see, those are on now, and I'm pretty sure that I have them in the correct direction, because when you step on the brake, these two open and push against the brake pads, and I'm pretty sure that's what we're going for. But maybe I'm wrong. Wouldn't be the first time, right? I did want to share with you my brake pads. I actually thought they were in pretty good shape. I'm not going to bother to replace them. There seems to be quite a bit of beef left on them. I hope I'm not wrong about that, but I don't think I'll be using the brakes a lot on this, but I'd hate to find out the hard way. I think these are fine. If I need to get into these again to change them, it's not a problem. This seems to come apart pretty easy, and now that I've been through it, it should be a lot easier if I do need to replace those. But I'm going to go with the brakes that I got and hope that those will last us for a while. It seems like there's some good meat still left on those pads. So the next thing I got to do is put the actuating pieces in here. And I know when I took this apart, and I have the other one on the other side there that went something like that, and then I think it center pulls with that is how it works. So let me see if I can look at my picture here. I know that goes like that. This goes like so. And then I have this pin here that I want to say goes through all of that. Hopefully I'm putting this together correctly. And there's a cotter pin that goes in there. Holds that all together, and these two should go like so into there. And if I look at my drawing here, I'm going to hope that I put this back together correctly. So Ken the producer is away for the summer on me, so I'm here by myself. And don't tell him I told you this, but I do miss not having him here. It definitely makes a difference when he's here. I'm having to do everything on my own. It takes a lot longer. Definitely miss having him around. But yeah, he's gone for the summer. I'm here on my own. I feel like I haven't been here in a while. I've been very, very busy with life, and unfortunately, yeah, that happens. First off, I coach lacrosse at the high school, local high school here, and that takes a lot of my time in the spring. So that didn't help. And then with spring coming, the grass starts growing. I need to start cutting that and taking care of the yard and turning sprinklers on. And it's travel time of the year for me at work, so things get kind of crazy. So I haven't been here in the shop in a while. I actually had to travel for 2 weeks in a row for work. So I am playing some massive catch up right now. And hopefully we can get things rolling again here. I feel like I said, I feel like I haven't been here in so long. So still trying to figure out, I feel like that should go through there a lot easier than it is. There, I just needed to man up about it. We'll put that on. And then this side, going from this direction. My cotter pin just fell out. Thank you. That's just what I need. I also have been working on a project that I'm actually going to share with you. Not today, but I will share it with you. My wife kind of got on me about how long it took me to cut the grass here. So I had a thought that I could either get another tractor or I could get a bigger mower deck for the Ford tractor that I had. And it just so happens that I found the solution. Stay tuned. Just grabbed a pair of pliers to help push this pin through. This guy does not want to go in easily. And I'm hoping I can just squeeze him through with a pair of pliers. I was able to push it through with my hands on the other one. There we go. Those are tough. It's tight tolerance in there. So yeah, so anyway, my wife got on me about how long it takes me to cut the grass here. So I looked around for a new tractor. As we all know, new tractors cost a fortune. And normally when you find them, they're beat beyond belief and they need a lot of work to get them up to par. So I didn't want to spend the money on that. I ended up finding something that could make my Ford tractor work that I have. And I will share that with you here in a few minutes. Let me continue getting this together. Let's see if we can get this assembly together and get this guy back on our tractor. And then we'll come back to the project that I did. I'll share it all with you, I promise. So it's a 1/2-inch wrench to tighten up these pins. It holds this assembly together. And again, I'm assuming I'm doing this right. This is my first time doing the brakes on an international tractor. Hope I'm doing it right. Everything seems to be going together properly. And I mentioned earlier that I was gone for a couple weeks. I was traveling for work. And as part of that travel, I was able to go visit one of my sons. And we went to a tractor show. And I think it's called the Best of the West Tractor Show. It was in Santa Maria, California, I do believe. That was really neat. They had some farm tractors there. They had a lot of crawlers there. Of course, Central California there, a lot of crawlers were used there for farming, so a lot of them ended up there. And just really neat, some of the stuff that people had there. Some construction equipment, a lot of bulldozers, scrapers, items like that, which was really neat because you don't always see those at tractor shows. But there were a lot of tractors as well. Not as much as I would like to have seen, but definitely a good mix of the two. And I have some shots and some video of that I'll share with you, some neat stuff that I saw there briefly. But if you ever get a chance to get out to that, the Best of the West Tractor Show in Santa Maria, California, It's over Memorial Day weekend. It was really, really something. I'm glad I went. So my little nut here is being stubborn as to going on, which means I may have to just run this through a die real quick. So let me take and do that, and we'll come back, we'll get this together. So I took and ran the nut onto a tap, and hopefully that's all it needed. It did not want to go through that easily. That did it. Let me give my wrench. Perfect. So I'll take and I'll tighten this up. I don't know how tight these really need to be. They seem like they're good and snug. So at this point, it looks like this whole brake assembly is together. Now, the next thing I got to do is I got to take and put my adjuster together, which is made up of all these pieces here. And I know as I was reading in my owner's manual here that you need to pre-compress this spring. So let me find out what that's all about, find out how this all goes together, and then I'll come back and I'll show you where I got with it. So I'm back. A couple days later, I found out when I pulled the bolt, adjusting bolt, out of the other side of the brakes, I found out that I had two bolts that were different size. One was a replacement. This one's the original. Both of them were bent. This has a banana in it. I don't know if you can see it. I will never get it straight like it's supposed to be. So because I had to replace the one on the other side because it was too long, it's a 1/4 of an inch longer than this, and somebody had been in here and they put this little spacer in to make it work. The nuts had been changed out. There were a bunch of different stuff that was done. So in order to get it back the way it was supposed to be, I took and I bought some new bolts. The heads aren't quite as tall as they were on the original. You know how I am. I like to be absolutely original in my work, but this is just something I'm going to have to bite the bullet on. I suppose I could probably search around the parts tractors, probably get the right size head on the bolt. I don't know if that's really going to matter to anybody. I don't know if it's that important to me at this point. So I got some new bolts. They were only threaded to about where my finger is here. So I had to thread them more. You can buy these bolts special, but they're like $14 a piece. I think I got 10 of them for $14. So I just took and I threaded it some more, copied the original one that I have. So now we're ready to start putting this back together. So as I'm looking at my manual over here, because I'd be lost without it, right? I notice here that it says this coil spring needs to be pre-compressed. And it says that you need to preload it to 1 3/16 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my washer on here, put this guy on here. This guy goes next, the operating rod and ball. And I already have problems with this going in here because these threads are not as small as the other ones were. So I may have to do some more work on this. Stand by. Let me get back to you.